Good afternoon, hello, my name is Daniel, this is the TriathlonDan YouTube channel. This is episode 2 in a 7-part series in which I'm trying to lose 7 kilos of body weight in 7 weeks, or at the minimum, really. I need to try and do as best as I can. Now, if you haven't watched episode 1, please do go back and watch it. I talk a bit about my journey over the last few years and the reasoning why I'm doing this and describing the mess that I'm in right now. So I started the week at 104.5 kilos of body weight. I need to get down. It is now day 6 of week 1 and I have deliberately left it until now to pick the camera up to talk about this, because the first few days of any diet or thing or new thing is easy. It happens because it's new and it's in your mind and I'm doing this now. I've had more day 1s than anything I can remember. So day 6, it's getting difficult. Now, the summary of this week up to date is that I've had a really good week. The best eating I've ever done, the best training I've ever done, or combination of. I've averaged just over 1,000 calories of calorie deficit every day, and I'm going to talk about what I'm eating when I'm home and not outside of the Peak District. But it's been good. But it is starting to get more of a chore now, especially because I'm not any lighter. I'm 6 days in and my weight is almost exactly the same. So I have those demons in my mind already saying, what you're doing, is this normal, etc. I'm out today for a long bike ride in the Peak District. This, and everything else I'm doing is the key to how I'm going to do this. So today is a Saturday. This is my opportunity, because I don't work on a Saturday, to get out for a long ride, burn loads of calories, hopefully be in a decent calorie deficit, and really give myself an extra little bump at the weekends is what I'm planning to do. So what I'm eating and drinking on the ride is pretty much as little as I can. I don't mean as little as I can to get around the ride, as little as I can with not shoot myself in the foot. So I've got squash in the bottles, a couple of flapjacks in my pocket, a couple of bars and stuff, but I'm just really keeping an eye on calories per hour, grams per hour, calories burned, all those sorts of things. But yeah, this is getting tough. I'm going to get this ride done and then we'll perhaps have a bit more of a debrief about what I've been eating and drinking this week, what exercise I've been doing, and why I don't think I'm losing any weight yet. Okay, so it is the next day and today is Sunday. It is the end of week 1 of my trying to lose 7 kilos in 7 weeks challenge. I'm going to come back to all the numbers for the week later on today, but I figured I should talk you through and show you through what a day is looking like for me at the minute in terms of eating, in terms of training, and in terms of the challenges I think I'm facing and how I'm dealing with them. So with it being a Sunday, I don't work on a Sunday, so this is a great opportunity to be able to do loads of training and get in a big calorie deficit. However, I rode my bike for 5.5 hours yesterday and my legs are quite tired, so I've not got a big ride on the agenda, coupled with the weather being bad, which just means that I need to adjust my diet accordingly. Now I am going to go and get on the bike and try and do between 1.5 hours and 2 hours. That's enough for me to get in a big enough calorie deficit to be 1,000 calories negative for the end of the day. If I can do more, brilliant, but I do also need to do a lot of this sort of stuff today just to get ahead for the week. So I've got a few plates I'm spinning, but the weight loss is my number 1 priority. So if anything's going to give, it's everything else other than that. So breakfast for me is the same every day, regardless of whether I'm training or not. And that might be something I'll look at in the next few weeks, but it is the same. It's 100 grams of oats. I then have 1 scoop of chocolate OTE protein powder. It's a whey protein. And then 1 chopped banana. I then put hot boiling water in that, stir it around a bit, leave it 15-20 minutes, and then eat it. I don't cook it in a bowl or in a microwave or anything like that. And I also don't use milk in porridge. No real reason other than I've just always had it with water, and I find that the chocolate protein powder gets a bit of protein in and also just makes it taste a bit nicer, and it seems to just work, so that's what I stick to. Now I know that's a big old breakfast. I think from memory it's about 550 calories ish, but my resting metabolic rate, so I've calculated, is over 2,000 calories a day, so it's not like it's a massive, maybe it is a massive breakfast, but what I am finding is that's enabling me to get through to lunchtime without snacking. I don't feel hungry enough that I need to go and raid the fridge, so hopefully that'll be okay. So in terms of today, it's now 10:15. I'm getting on the bike at 10:30. I normally now reach for a snack because I'm training, I need to get some more fuel in and all of that. I don't actually need it. I've had breakfast about 1.5 hours ago. That'll be absolutely fine. I might eat on the bike if I need to, but this is the sort of times where anything I can not eat and train puts me into that deficit, doesn't it? So whilst I'm feeling fine now, it makes no sense to have a snack before I get on the bike. So let's go and get the training done, and then we'll have a look at lunch and tea as well. So in episode 1, I said that this challenge is mental, physical, and mathematical. And it's the mathematical part that I'm really focused on, just because I'm finding it easier to focus on that part. I know that this is all down to what I eat, when I eat it, and how much of it, and what activity I do. But that to me makes it too complicated for me to really focus on. Like if I was focusing on getting this many grams of protein in and this many grams of carbs at this different times, I just become a bit overwhelmed by it all. Like I'm overwhelmed as it is looking in the mirror right now. So therefore the main thing I'm focusing on is just the raw number of calories in versus calories out. Now, you can't out-train a bad diet, but you can probably, in my opinion, out-train an average diet. So as long as I'm average, that's fine. And I think as somebody who's active, what you think is average is probably above average, better than average. So that's why I'm mainly focusing on getting what training I can do as much as I can to put myself in a numerical deficit. And sure, I'm reflecting on the sort of, those macronutrient breakdowns after the fact and learning what I can, but I've just got to focus on what I can actually control, and that is this. Now, I don't know how people lose significant amount of weight without exercising, because it's just, look at the numbers. If say it takes me 2,200 calories to stay alive per day. So if I want to drop 500 a day, I can only eat 1,700. And some people will say, well, that's loads. I don't think it is. I'll soon go through that. So therefore, I have to create this bigger number of expenditure by exercising. And then it just means that I don't have to absolutely mentally and physically kill myself to be in a deficit. I'm worried about the days when I can't train, but for the last 7 days, I've managed to do a good amount of training for me, and that's really helped. So 25 minutes in now, I know that I need to do at least an hour to an hour and a half, at least, to be in any sort of chance of being in a good deficit. So that's my main aim. Riding in zone 2, just churn them away. When I'm thinking about fueling, so I've got a couple of bars, maybe squares bars. If anything, I'm trying to reach for them when I absolutely have to, not when I want to, because I know that I'm going to finish around lunchtime. I can have lunch straight after. It doesn't matter if I'm on the ropes a bit. I'm doing no more training today. I can recover through that food. So it's a constant battle, as this whole thing's going to be a battle. And of course on day 7 I'm looking at myself thinking, well, I look exactly the same and the scales don't really tell any difference. So but we'll talk about this week when I finish this session. Okay, so ride done dusted. First thing I do is look at the calories burned. So 1,161 from an hour and a half in zone 2 with a few surges, but nothing too bad. Felt okay, managed to not have a snack or anything, so I just got through it. Which is now, the first thing I do is to put it in MyFitnessPal, so I'm planning out the rest of the day. 2,235 calories remaining, which essentially means I have 1,235 remaining, and I've already put lunch in there, so I've put, wherever it is, I'm gonna have scrambled egg on toast. So that's good, that gives me 1,200 calories the rest of the day. Realistically, evening meal is gonna be 700-800, gives me a couple of snacks in there, and that should be a manageable day, but there's no room for slip-ups there, is there? So I'm going to get shower changed, have lunch, and then I'm going to show you everything that I've ate this week and how it's gone.
Of the really tough section. 10% we're looking at right now. Tarling is a big man. He had a big result. We'll then shut that and then suddenly go out of your comfort zone and move quicker. And the gap is opened up with too much time.
Just showed that, well, he's got that resilience, isn't he? But 30 seconds is holding. So the group behind aren't being distanced too much more.
Okay then, so week 1 has drawn to a close and it's time for me to come clean with what I've ate this week, how much I've burnt, calorie deficits, all of that. Now I'm not going to go into each day in mega detail audibly. I'll put it on the screen so you can pause it if you'd like, and I'll cover specific days in more detail in the weeks to come. My main focus, as I said earlier, is the mathematical challenge. It's looking at the deficit number. Am I in enough of a deficit in that day to be losing some weight? So that's the number on the top. So when it says remaining, that's how many calories I've got left. So the goal is my resting metabolic rate, which is how many calories I burn to stay alive. How I've calculated that is tracking my weight for the last couple of months and seeing how that happens, but also my Apple Watch that I wear all the time, other than when it's charging, tells me my resting metabolic rate is 2,470 calories roughly most days. I think that's a little bit high, so I've put it in at 2220. It just populated a pre-generated number, and I put some stuff in this. I think that's a fair mark to have. I'd hope it's a little bit conservative, and then I'll hopefully lose a bit more weight than I'd hoped. But I feel like that's in the right ballpark, so I'm happy to go with it. And then of course I've got the food total and then the exercise total, and that gives me the number left. We can have a little look at like the nutrients within that, but that's the top line figures. So I need to be in a deficit of 1,000 a day, Monday to Friday, and then at least one day at the weekend more than that to take me to my 7,700 in a week, to lose a kilo in a week for 7 weeks. Got it? Okay, so Monday, job done, 1,658 calories, exercise 2,200 calories made up of 2 rides and a swim. Tuesday, slightly smaller deficit, didn't train as much. I went down at UK Bike Fits in the evening to do some podcasting stuff, so I only got an hour in first thing in the morning, so it just meant that my food was quite a lot lower. I was really proud of myself actually for eating that little food. Normally I've always been around 3,000 calories plus, that's why I'm in this mess, so 950. Wednesday, another good day. Food's quite a lot higher, but so is the training as well, so still left me in that deficit of 1,116. Thursday, another 1,100 day. I was sort of only aiming for 1,000, but every little bit I can get above it is good. So again, 3,000 calories and nearly 2,000 burnt. That was a couple of rides and a swim session. Friday, again, less exercise, a little bit less food, but still enough to leave me in that 1,000 calorie deficit. Saturday was the day, brilliant, exactly what I needed. A long ride on which I didn't fuel that much, and then it left me in a big deficit of nearly 3,000 calories, which is nuts. And I was worried that I was going to be in a bit of a hole Sunday morning today, but actually wasn't. Whether that will have a knock-on effect or not, I don't know. Some of the things here you can see from this day. So I've had like a nice dinner that Liz made, you know, fish and rice and all of that. Some snacks that weren't so good when I got back from the ride, because I knew I was going to be in a massive deficit. You know, I had a couple of like not full-on sugary drinks, because full sugar drinks in the UK now, other than Coke, are less sugary. Fanta lemon, can of shandy, chocolate milk, those sorts of things, just to get some recovery and energy into me. I knew that I hadn't really ate enough on that bike ride, so I needed to get some stuff into me. But I felt like I was still keeping control of it, like it was calculated, and like I knew what I was doing. And again, like I'm in the shop putting stuff on MyFitnessPal before I'm buying stuff, so it's like a calculated decision. And to leave me in a deficit of just under 3,000, cool. I don't need to be in that big of a deficit, but you know, it helps. And then Sunday, so today, I'm due to be at 1406. It will be a bit less than that, because I have my evening meal put in, which I've not ate yet, and I will probably have a snack. Like there's a yogurt in the fridge I'll probably have that'll be a couple of hundred calories, so that'll leave me about 1,200. Now let me just pick a random day and have a look at the actual nutrition. So Thursday, 1,100 deficit. What am I like nutrients? Yeah, pretty good day for protein. I'm mainly looking at protein and carbs there, make sure I'm not having like over 50% carbs, but also make sure the protein is up more than anything. But then there were some other days which weren't quite as good. So Wednesday, that was quite a good day for protein. Tuesday, 131 grams, 100 kilos. I should be aiming for 200 grams plus of protein a day, but you know, every one thing at a time, right? So where does that leave me this week? Well, that leaves me with a weekly calorie deficit of just under 10,000. It should be like 9,500, which according to maths should be just over a kilo of fat or body weight. It ain't. I'm not that much lighter. Now, how am I justifying that at the minute? Well, the honest answer is I don't really know, do I? I don't know what's happening in here. What is any of that accurate or is it not? I'm actually really confident with those numbers. I think that it is, and this is the best I've trained in it in a while. So at the minute, I'm just trusting the process, and I'm hoping that next week loads more weight will fall off, and I won't be able to explain that because it'll be more than I perhaps anticipate at the minute. If I'm measuring my weight on the day from Monday to today, I'm 0.7 kilos lighter. If I'm measuring it from the last rolling week to this rolling week, it's a bit less than that. I think it's actually 1 pound, which is just under half of a kilo. So not anywhere near where I need to be. Certainly alarming this early on. If I'm honest, if I could have predicted what was going to happen in these 7-week series, I thought that week 1 was going to be a big drop and then I'd be fighting it from then on in. To be fighting it this early on is intimidating to me, but I'm just so focused. I'm focused on the input rather than the output. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to keep working on this. And if I get another weekend and perhaps things haven't improved and I'm still seeing these numbers, I'm going to ask some people for some advice. But for now, I just need to focus on it. doing the right things, doing lots of training and exercise. I've done nearly 20 hours of training this week. I can't always do that, and like 18 hours on the bike, but that's certainly helped, and I'm going to be striving to do as much as I can next week and hope that that all adds into this bigger picture, because man, have I got some work to do. Obviously, I look exactly the same. I don't think I look any different at all, and you know, we'll revisit that in future weeks. Thank you very much for watching. This is part 2 of an 8-part series. I completely forgot that I'm doing 7 weeks and the briefing initially, so it's actually 8 videos in the lead up to me going to Mallorca for a week and hopefully being able to fit into my cycling kit to try and lose 7 kilos. So hopefully you're enjoying the series. Hope you get something from it. Thank you very much for the support and for watching this video. I really appreciate it. This is all in aid of me just getting in a better place and hopefully helping other people out who want to be in a better place and happier with themselves. Hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you very soon for episode 3.